Hey guys, so this is gonna be my first long form video, and hopefully the music in the back isn't too loud, but I didn't want to do this in silence. So I'm just gonna go over my Inktober. I actually completed all of the days, all 31. It was the first time I've ever done that, and I just kind of wanted to go over my process, what I was thinking while I went through it, and yeah, I'm just gonna jump into it. I was gonna show my supplies, but I don't know. Well, we'll do it real fast. I had a couple of these. These are the Sharpie Gel Point 7 pens. I had a black, blue, and red one. I had this, those like kid pens that you have like all the colors. I love these pens. They're super fun to use, and my partner got me one of these from HEB. If you're in Texas, shout out to HEB. It saved my butt a couple of times because I definitely didn't have all the colors of ink. Normal ballpoint pens. I had a dip pen with a couple of different nibs. What else did I use? I had a couple of brushes. Something like this. A big fat one like that. And then of course, a ton of inks. And I kind of bought them throughout the entire process. Actually, I had most of these. These are the only ones that I bought. The green and the gold. And yeah, that's about it. I didn't go super fancy with it. I just kind of used what I had on hand and bought some new nibs and this brush about midway through, which ended up being a mistake. It really messed up my art because I did not have enough practice with either of them. But yeah. Beyond that, I kind of didn't have a plan going in, but like I didn't do any preparation. I didn't sketch anything out beforehand. I didn't even look at the list really beforehand. And oh shit. Everything's okay, nothing broke. But yeah, let me put all this stuff away and we'll get into it. All right. We're just going to go day by day. I'm just going to let you guys know what I was thinking. So day one, I drew this guy. I was pretty excited on day one. Went into it, drew this little dude, and immediately was like, nah, this isn't going to cut it. So I got to this point and literally just started over and ended up with something I enjoyed way more. Something to note going into this, I didn't have a process really. I was just going in as I usually do ink drawings, which is I just go with whatever I'm feeling. I don't sketch anything out, or I didn't sketch anything out with pencil or anything like that. I just did pen and then hoped for the best, and luckily this one came out really good. I was really happy with it. All of these drawings, by the way, I made shorts. So if you go to my channel and you click on the shorts, you can watch any of them. And yeah, it'd be appreciated if you check them out. But yeah, this one was, what was the word? Mustache. And so I gave this zombie a big glorious mustache so that when he's, eating your face, at least he looks a little bit dapper. Day two was weave. During this time, I was playing Silksong a lot, and so I knew the moment I saw the prompt, I was like, I gotta draw a hornet. And for this one, I did do a sketch, and I'm really happy I did a sketch because I don't think it would have come out nearly as good if I didn't. There's not much to say. I was just super in the mood to draw Silksong fan art, which is interesting because that's not something I do. I don't draw a lot of fan art, and in Inktober, I really leaned into it on certain days where I just drew stuff I liked or I knew about, and it's fun. I'm gonna probably do more fan art in the future. Um, but yeah, speaking of which, by the way, this game is awesome. I recently got to Act 3, and I haven't really picked it up again. I'm kind of taking a break, but I got to pick it up again and beat the game properly. If you guys know, you can end the game in Act 2, but Act 3, you got to beat it the whole way through. So day 3 was Crown, and this is where I kind of learned my first lesson, or at least the start of my first lesson. Inktober, I know for a lot of people, it's just about like getting through the challenge, which is an accomplishment in itself, or getting better at inking. But for me, I learned like so much just about myself and the way I do art and how I approach it. This one is another one that didn't have a sketch. I didn't do a pencil sketch. I just went in, I had an idea in my head, and I tried to get it done, and I wasn't super happy with it. I think the idea is good, right? The skeleton in like a suit of armor sitting on like a plush chair, but there are things I could have definitely done better. And if I would have done an under sketch, I think it would have turned out not only better, but just something I was happy with. Something also to mention with these two, I got a false impression. I got 1,000+ views on each of these by themselves, and something going in, I didn't want to focus on like the algorithm or views or likes or anything like that. I have a bad relationship with that, I guess, like social media and art. It's the reason I deleted basically all of my social media except for YouTube. And this whole experience kind of like gave me a good view about how, like, man, I can't figure out the algorithm. I don't know what the hell's going on. I don't know what makes something popular or not, and I think that's good because one of my main goals was like not to care about that going in. With that being said, you get all the analytics, you can see how many views, you can see how many likes. So it was interesting going from 1,000 for each piece to basically like 100, and I chalked that up to it not being as good. But later on, I kind of realized like, no, that the number of views, number of likes, number of comments does not correlate with the quality of art at all. It's just kind of random, and I'm really happy actually that was reinforced. So yeah, but I like the idea. Probably will revisit it. And yeah, that was day 3. It was Crown. Whoa. This is day 4. Yeah, day 4, Murky. I was really happy with this one as well. Or, well, not as well, but I was really happy with this one. The creature in the background, I liked I liked everything about this one. I was really happy with this one. Another one that, again, that didn't do super popular, but I knew I was happy with it, and that's what mattered. I used white for the first time in this one, white ink, to kind of rim light the character and part of this monster in the background. I learned my lesson from the last one, so I did do a sketch, a pencil sketch. Fun fact, if you do a pencil sketch and then do a complete wash of black ink, you can't see the pencil sketch. So I basically had to kind of sketch this from memory. But something that was interesting is that because I had done it once, it was actually fairly easy to do it again. It was like almost like a muscle memory. Um, so even when I couldn't see the entire sketch because I had covered it in a ink wash, it still helped, I think, the final composition. So again, learning my lesson, doing a pencil sketch, even if I don't want to, just it seems to improve the quality a lot. This is one of my favorites. I really liked how it turned out. Murky, day 4, murky. We got day 5. It was deer. This is one of those days where I wasn't feeling it. On day 5, I was already like, I don't know if I really want to get super creative with it. And so I pulled up the image of a deer and I was like, I'll just do a sketch. I'll just sketch the image in ink. It'll be super easy, and then I'll just call it a day and I'll do better tomorrow. It turns out I can't do that. If I have time and I sit down to do art is what I'm gonna do, and that's not a bad thing. I just have to allow it to happen. And as you can tell, it wasn't just a deer. It was like a zombie, moss growing on its horns, evil deer. I tried to use the white ink again, and it got kind of murky. It works in this image, but going through this using white ink, sometimes it was awesome, and other times it was like a complete bust and it just didn't work. And I'm starting to get the hang of like when to use it and why to use it, and what it shows up best on. Spoiler, a plain black background is your best bet. But yeah, I was still kind of learning. Also, my camera was set up over there, so all of my drawings, if you look at the Inktober speed draws, they're all upside down. And I thought it looked cool. I thought it was like pretty fun to see like me actually draw, and like my supplies and me dipping my pen in the ink and the brushes. But about halfway through, I decided, you know what, it makes more sense to have this view, the point of view. So yeah, if you go back and you watch those shorts, half of them are going to be upside down, and then the other half go from point of view. I still like the upside down view a lot, actually, but I think it makes more sense in a viewing, scenario that you want to see what I see and what I'm doing in the way that I'm doing it, rather than from across the table. So yeah, I like this one. I was happy with this one. Pierce. I was trying to figure out what to do for Pierce, and for some reason this scene, if you've ever played any of the Final Fantasy VII, or even I think maybe Remake, this scene is in there. This was the scene. So I didn't grow up playing these games. The first time I played them, I think it was last year, 2024. And I played the original, the remake, and then the second part of the remake. And this is the scene that made me go from kind of being like, whatever, Cloud, I don't know, I like Zack better, to being like, you know what, Cloud is awesome. He's like edgy, and he tries too hard to be cool, but he actually can pull through. And yeah, I remember seeing this scene and just being like, Uno reversed him, oh my god, and just chunks him off the balcony. And yeah, I sketched this out and I was really happy with it. It worked really well in my little like kind of sketchy style. And it was the first image that I did that was not vertically oriented, it was horizontal, and it worked out perfect. Nothing more really to say about this. I was just really happy with this piece, and people seem to like it. Not a big surprise. Final Fantasy VII is pretty popular, but yeah, I'm happy with this one. All right. So this one, day 7, Starfish. this one, I remember drawing. I did the under sketch of it, which you can kind of sort of see still. You can see like the pencil marks because I wasn't erasing. It's something that I learned later on. I was like, I should, before I go to coloring, I should probably erase all the pencil marks after I ink, which is, I'm sure, obvious to everyone, but to me, I was like, erasing, whatever. But yeah, I remember sketching this out, and I remember being like, I fucking nailed it, dude. Like, I nailed this. Like, the composition, the way like the tentacles are coming up to grab the ship, the perspective on the ship. I just remember being like, hell yes, I'm really happy. I used green. I have green ink that I bought, I think like the day before, and I used it on this one, and I was really happy because I used a wash, and like the way the color changed, I just was really happy with this piece. I thought it was awesome, and when I posted it up, I was like, hell yeah, dude, I nailed it. This is a good one, and it got the lowest amount of views, and I remember thinking like, what the hell? Like, I don't understand. Like, I thought I did a really good job. And again, it was a great reminder of like, hey, views and likes don't correlate with like your best work or work that you enjoy even. And so even though this one only got, I think it got like 30 views or something like that, I still really like it, man. And it's nice that I can look back on this and be like, I don't care about everything else. I'm just happy that I really like showed up today and produced something that I'm happy with, something that I'm probably gonna redo, or maybe like make an animated version of. Like, there's, I don't know, I think there's a lot of little things about this that I really enjoy that I can clean up and make even a little bit better. Something I haven't really talked about is every single one of these images, I think took me, I think the longest one took me maybe an hour, like a little bit over an hour. So something that surprised me was how fast I was able to do these. I was really worried that I would have to dedicate like hours of my day to really make these images. But one, I'm working with I took a piece of paper and I cut it into fourths. So one, much smaller space, right? So inherently it's easier to fill. But two, I just work quickly, which is good. It's a skill that I want to have and I want to develop even more. But it also means like, hey, there's no excuse. Like, I should be drawing, and I should be drawing consistently. And even if I only have an hour, that doesn't mean I can't make something. So, a lot of lessons learned. Really happy with this one. I think it's cool. Just Captain, we're going overboard. You know, it's just, I don't know. It tells a story. I think it's fun. Day 7, Starfish. So day 8, Reckless. So this was the first day. Oh, it wasn't even halfway through. Day 8, I flipped my camera. Now all of the shorts are point of view. And I'm really happy I did it for this one, because this is one where I decided to get a little bit abstract with the prompt. The prompt was reckless. And instead of drawing something that was reckless, I decided I wanted to make the drawing itself reckless. So I grabbed an ink dropper and just dropped a bunch of big drops of ink on the paper, took a big brush and then just, all over. And what I was left with was all these streaks, all these marks, and I kind of just stared at it for a second, found the shapes within it, and I was like, oh, I bet I can make something with birds, because this little guy looked like a bird and this little guy looked like a bird. And so I really carved out the image from this just randomness, and very much at home. I love doing stuff like that, and I'm really glad it worked out. White ink, check it out. It worked really well. Go figure. If you use white ink on a black background, it's probably the best use case rather for white ink. So definitely it can work. Really happy it worked. One of my favorite pieces. A lot of energy, a lot of just I don't know. It was really fun to make too, and I don't even think it took that long. I think it took me like 30 minutes, and came out with something pretty cool. Yeah, day 8, reckless. Day 9, I would think it was heavy. Yeah, day 9, heavy. I could not, for the life of me, think of anything clever, like at all. So I decided, you know what? I'm just gonna Google what the heaviest Pokemon was, and apparently it's like this little guy, Cosmo. What's his name? Cosmo M. They, she. I don't know. It's like they're like this big. They're like the size of like a sketchbook. They're like this big, and they weigh over 2,000 pounds. And I get it. Like there's space. They're like a black hole or something. I just thought it was cool that the heaviest Pokemon is also like one that, you know, could fit in a cup holder. And I just sketched them. Nothing fancy about this. Literally, I looked at Pokemon cards. I don't know if there's any fans of this Pokemon. Let me know, because you guys are being done dirty. There are like 5 Pokemon cards, and they all have the same pose. It's just this. And I'm like, I think there's more creative ways to do it, and I should have tried to make something more creative, but today was like a brain dead day, so I was like, I'm just gonna sketch it out, ink it to the best of my ability, and yeah, it came out alright. Definitely want to give it another shot. I feel like there's more interesting things this Pokemon could be doing. But yeah, let me know if this is your favorite Pokemon, and if so, like what you would like to see them doing. Maybe I'll redo it. So we got day 10 sweep. Another lesson learned on this one. I don't know if you guys can tell. So here, I used white ink to try to get the highlights, but white ink on a very like light wash doesn't show up nearly as well. But on the buckets, there's you know, tons of white on here because I actually planned for it, and I just didn't fill that in, and I just used the white of the paper. Again, very obvious things I should be doing. But when I'm doing pieces, a lot of the time my brain shuts off. Oh, speaking of shut off, hold on. I gotta flip the music. I'll be right back. All right, I got a record in the background. Anyway, what was I talking about? Brain off. When I draw, a lot of time my brain just shuts off and I just do the thing. And the entire challenge kind of a little bit slowly taught me that I should really be engaged in this process, and I should really be thinking about the final result I'm hoping for, which is difficult for me because I kind of just do things, and sometimes they work out and sometimes they don't. But the more thought I put into it, the higher chance I'll be happy with the end result. And so this kind of showed me, hey, think about where the light's coming from, leave space for that. Like, don't hope that the white ink is gonna be able to cover up, you know, the areas that I needed to, and instead just plan ahead. Yeah. Also, something I thought was really cool, I don't have brown ink, and I was worried about that, and I did the bottom part of the broom, the day's sweep. I don't know if I said that. Day 10 sweep. This is from Fantasia, the Mickey Mouse, the Sorcerer's Apprentice, when he gets into all kinds of trouble and makes all the brooms come to life to do his water chore or fill the well. I can't remember. But I don't have brown ink, so I was like, how am I going to make this look correct? And I kind of took a chance, just used a really light, super light wash of black ink, and I was super surprised how it read as brown. Like, I feel like I like it just works, and like you don't have to question it. We get it. We know what it's supposed to be. And yeah, it showed me like you could really bend like colors and shapes and all kinds of stuff in art, and it still read correctly. So yeah, day 10 sweep. I liked it. Again, nothing super crazy. I kind of just looked at a screenshot, sketched out on my own, added some embellishments, but otherwise, pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Day 11, Sting. So this by far is the most popular short that I put up. This one kind of makes sense to me. I think this is the strongest image I have out of all of these. I wanted to make a pun, so Sting, Stinger, but also he's a SWAT bee, so he's, part of a sting operation. Again, one of those things where I sat down, I really thought about it, and you can even see, like, here, there's light, and I let the paper show through. I didn't use ink on every part, so it looks like, the light is hitting from this direction. The shading, I actually used, instead of like black, I used blue, and it gave it this like greenish tint to it that really worked. There's a lot of texture to this. There's a lot of like character to it. I think this is the strongest image that I did, and I'm really happy with it. It might not be my favorite, but I do think it's the strongest. And yeah, it got the most views. Again, you would think, oh, that means like if you make better art, you're gonna get more views. No, not at all. I don't know why this one took off. I don't know why that many people were able to see it. Some of them only got 30 views. This one got 1,300. So it's like, what? Sure, people really like bees, I guess. Nah, I'm really happy with this one. I'm probably gonna put it on my portfolio. Which, if you want to see my portfolio, I got a website. It's in the, what do you call it? Like on my page, on my YouTube page, you look at the links, it's there. So, day 11 Sting. Day 12 Shredded. I really like this concept. I thought it was a funny, like the dude is shredded, but he's struggling to open up the pickle jar. I thought it was funny. I thought it was a good idea. I wish I would have given more definition to the muscles. I had images up. I had reference images, but I kind of just went with it, and I think it still works. I even like the little bit of red I put on like the parts that are like the most strained, and he's got his face is all crazy. I wish I would have defined the muscles a little bit more. But beyond that, I'm actually really happy with this one. Again, you can see I'm leaving space for these highlights instead of trying to just use white ink, and it's coming out better. Yeah, nothing much more to say about this one. I thought it was a solid drawing. We got day 13, Drink. Second most popular one, probably because it's a health potion. We got a lot of gamers, and I don't know. I'm trying to justify why this one would be popular. I don't know. I don't get the algorithm. I don't think anyone does. But I don't care. I was happy with this one. The only thing I would change is I would go lighter on this black ink on the edge, so that it looked like the light was shining harder here. But besides that, I was really happy with it. I liked the transparency here. I liked the lines that I used. I liked how the inks blended together. I was just really happy. There's not a ton to say about this one. It's a pretty simple drawing, just a circle with a bit of a tube on the top. But a good reminder that like simplicity doesn't mean bad, right? It's just, if you do it correctly, it can just look really fun and cool. So what was this, day 13 Drink? Definitely one of the more popular ones that I did, and yeah, I'm happy with this one. Okay. So this was day 14 Trunk. At the beginning, I showed new art supplies that I got. It was this, and it was a new nib. Pro tip: if you're in the middle of a challenge, don't practice for 20 minutes and then be like, I got this, and then try to use those new supplies on the drawing. This just didn't turn out the way I was hoping. My least favorite drawing, straight up, out of all of these. And I watched it back, and even the sketch wasn't even like. I don't know. The only thing I really learned from this was, you know what? If you got new art supplies, practice way more before you start just messing around. I got a new nib that like manga artists use, and it's wily, man. Like trying to control that thing, it feels random a lot of the time. And I finally got a hold, like later on I'll show you. I finally kind of get used to it. But in the end I just don't like it. Which means of course I used it for like multiple of these things. But this is one of those ones where I didn't like it. I kind of just got through it, which I think is kind of the lesson in this one, which is they're not all going to be winners, and you got to just push through. It's one drawing out of 31. Like, suck it up, move on, get to the next day, and maybe don't use brand new art supplies in the middle of a challenge. Probably the biggest lesson. So yeah, day 14 trunk. Speaking of not using new art supplies, guess what pen nib I used? Yep, the new one. I was getting more used to it, but you can see there's these huge black blobs here, and that's because there was ink dripping off my pen because I didn't know how to use it correctly. This is one of those that I really liked the undersketch. I was really happy with it, and then I think I lost a lot of the potential in the inking. And I think we've all been there, where you love a sketch and then you ink it and you're like, I ruined it, no! This one, I don't think it's ruined. I just don't think it's as good as it could be. I really like the concept, these guys kind of coming through this window or frame or something like that. But yeah, just, I can't stress enough. If you're not used to an art supply, maybe don't use it in the middle of a challenge. That's like my biggest takeaway. I finally do get the hang of it, but like I said, I end up not liking it anyway. Like I put it in a bucket and I'm never going to use it again. But yeah, I'll probably revisit this. I like this idea. I just need to do it better. Day 15 ragged is what it was. Day 15 ragged. Oh, something I didn't mention. Starting here, there is a huge slump in my views. This one, I think, got like 19 or 20. This one also got like below 30. Everything else was getting at least like 100, 200. And then all of a sudden, again, it'd be easy to be like, oh, it's because this sucks. But no, like, there was a slump in viewership. And again, I don't know why. Maybe it was because it was week 3 of Inktober and people were just kind of over it. Maybe it had to do with, like, I don't know. I'm terrible at this kind of stuff. I hate trying to figure that stuff out, which is why I didn't. But yeah, there is a slump in this week. Even though some of the pieces that I did, I was really happy with. But anyway, next one. I'm using the new nib, but day 3, I finally get a feel for it. I finally get a hang for it. On day 16, blunder, I decided to use a blunder bust, right? It was a big ol' pirate shotgun, essentially. And I was happy with this piece. I liked the pose. I liked how the gun came out. I wish the ornate bits would have shown up a little bit better, but overall I was just happy with it. But like I said, everything was kind of slow that week, and I think this one also got like 20, 30 views. That new nib you can get really thick lines, almost like a brush, and you can get a lot of cool variation. But I kind of figured out this day that it wasn't something I was into. I like when I'm using a dip pen, the lines are just one kind of scratchy, thin line. Whenever I want variation, I use a brush. Uh, big lesson learned. I have my preferred nibs for my dip pen, and I like using a brush. So yeah, live and learn. I was happy with this one, even if it didn't do super well. Definitely not going to revisit it. But yeah. Let's see. Day 17, Ornate. This is the one where I drew it and I was really happy with it. I thought it looked cool. I thought it was weird and odd. Which is more in line with my style. I have been doing stuff, and every once in a while, in all the other drawings, my personal style would come out, but I was very much focused on like trying to adhere to the prompt rather than just doing stuff that I like doing. And this was the beginning of me realizing that. And so I drew this bat lady. I don't even know. I kind of just wung it and ended up with a cool piece. Ornate, they got the jewelry, they got the border. Again, I should have erased the pencil, but I needed something to trace. There was no shot I was going to do this pattern freehand. This is that gold paint, and I don't know, you can't really see. Oh yeah, you can. Look, choom choom, it like shines. It's super cool. And yeah, I got a gel pen, and it works pretty well. I like using the white gel pen. This sucker right here. This guy, way more than white ink on pieces that aren't just basically pure black. It shows up better, and you have more control for the most part. It was a learning curve, learning how to use this, though. I will be straight with you. But overall, happy I got some. And I was happy with this piece. Still, slump. You know, it got, I don't know, 19 views or something like that. And again, great reminder. I was like, oh, viewership, likes, comments, that doesn't equate to, that doesn't put value on your art. And that's something that like this whole Inktober like really reinforced. And I'm happy because once I start worrying about that stuff, my priorities get all jumbled. I care more about what's going to get me views rather than if I'm enjoying what I'm doing, and if what I'm doing is worth doing. Like, is it up to a quality that I'm happy with? Can I get better? Is it getting worse? And when I worry about algorithms and views and that kind of stuff, I definitely do my worst work. So even if it might not be super popular, I really liked it, and it's shiny. So there's that. Day 18 deal. Got really weird with this one, but I really like it. I love the perspective. I like the shadows that I use to show like the depth on the table. The day 18 was deal, and I love cards, so right away I thought of like I had to do something with a card. This guy just kind of came out of nowhere, and again I let my brain take over, using everything that I had learned up to this point, right? Letting the light just show up because of the back of the paper, my weird kind of style, and just having fun with it. I think this one did okay. I think this one actually got a couple hundred. But at this point I was like, the numbers don't matter, man. They just don't matter. What I do know is I had a lot of fun with this one. And yeah, I'm happy with it. I'll probably revisit this one as well. Make it more finished. Day 19, Arctic. This one was interesting because I didn't want to use lines. Like, I didn't want to use solid lines. I just wanted all the values to kind of speak for themselves. And I've gone back and forth with this one. I right now I look at it, definitely I can see where there are places where improvements can be made. But with the rabbit itself, this is an Arctic hare, by the way. So for the rabbit itself, I'm actually quite happy with it. I want to do this one again. I want to go back to doing landscapes, and I really want to flush this out and add the rabbit in like a more painting. Like, I want to do this in gouache or something, because I like the idea. Again, we're in a slump, so it didn't get as many views as, you know, this guy, but again, I'm happy with it. I learned some stuff. I think I did good with the values on this little guy, and yeah, I was happy. Day 20, Rivals. When I read Rivals, I could only think of Marvel Rivals, so we got a Spider-Man. This one was real loose. I kind of sketched him out really quick and then just used big swatches of paint. And yeah, go figure, if you put Spider-Man in one of your images, you get more you get more views, I guess. This one did pretty well. And what's funny is I would argue that it's not one of my stronger pieces. But overall, I was happy with it. I probably would go back and tighten it up, but yeah, I don't know. Not much to say about this. It was more fan art, but it was fan art that like my heart wasn't in. So yeah, it came out all right. I could do better, and maybe I will, but not with Spider-Man. Day 20, Rivals. Day 22, Blast. This one I did enjoy. I'm a huge Looney Tunes fan, and I wanted to do a more black and white piece with just little spots of color here and there. And we got the Wile E. Coyote that is about to blow up, because that is his lot in life. He is doomed to failure, but we love him. We love him anyway. I really like this one. I, again, took a lot of what I learned, leaving the white spaces for the highlights, trying to use the darkest darks where they matter, leaving the background a little bit faded. Yeah, just had fun with this one. I love Looney Tunes, so any excuse to draw one of these guys is a good day. I think this is a solid drawing. Day 22, Button. What did I do? Oh yeah, this guy. Again, right around here I was going through some stuff, and I started leaning more into my style of things, and go figure, it was well received. Yeah, I just gave him button eyes, and I just drew this like monster teddy bear thing. I was happy with this one. I liked. I didn't use a pen or a dip pen or anything like that. It was all kind of brush. So I got these thick lines, and I gave him a lot of fur and just the texture on the edges and stuff like that. Used I think this is the gel pen that I used, and I would change a couple little things, but overall I was really happy with kind of how the strands of saliva looked. Yeah, just like it. Happy, cute, and creepy at the same time. Like it. Day 23, Firefly. This is the one where I sat down and I thought about like why I was doing art and what I wanted to kind of get across. Again, I was going through some stuff at the end of the month. But good stuff. Things that I wanted to think about. I came up with this one. I'm really happy with this one. This might be my favorite, actually. It's a TV head guy monster. He's supposed to be human, but the idea behind this is like he's like a representation of like someone who is consumed by digital aspects of life, but is rediscovering nature. I'm a huge believer in that we need balance between both. So yeah, this was my attempt of showing that in my art. And it kind of like it lit up my brain in a very unique way that I think I needed. And he's kind of become a recurring character. I'm really happy with this piece. I kind of want to do this one digitally, and make the fireflies animated, just like not anything crazy, just like lighting up here and there and casting a glow on TV Ed here. So yeah, firefly. Day 24, Rowdy, again, TV Head. He's breaking free of all this garbage that these guys are watching and are glued to watching. A lot of little messages here, a lot of what I was feeling. I think the caption on this one, I was just like, everyone needs to be a little bit more rowdy. Just kind of escape. It's funny. I get the irony that I'm posting this on YouTube, and I have a piece about kind of getting the hell away from screens. But like I said, I think the idea is not that it's necessarily that you shouldn't be doing this stuff. It's that you need a balance between that and this, right? And if you find yourself consumed by the screens, it's time to maybe step back and just enjoy life, the real physical parts of it. I'll be right back. All right, yeah, balance, man, balance. Something that I'm struggle with, and I'm sure a bunch of people struggle with, but I think something I want to kind of explore in my art is that there is a healthy balance for both, right? It's not never using technology and going and being someone who lives in a cabin in the woods, but it's also not about just kind of ignoring technology and how awesome it is, because it is awesome. It's just we got to have a healthy balance. Going more into my style again, just weird. Just weird. Day 25, Inferno, in the last stretch. Nothing much to say about this one. Again, just having a lot of fun applying all the things that I've learned and coming out with some cool weird art. I like this one. I like this one a lot. I think it is just a solid piece. It's simple but effective. Day 26, puzzling. This is one that kind of got away from me, but in a good way. I just wanted to make something weird and abstract. I had seen this thing about a coloring style where you draw like a simple image and then you just put like big blocks of color to color in everything. And I wanted to try it, and I did it on this this butterfly here. The person in the background, by the way, is supposed to be TV Head, and he's like up real close staring at the butterfly. The one thing I would change about this image is that I would make it more clear that that is what is happening in the background. Because he's like seeing a butterfly and excited, and he's like, what is this? Like, oh my God, this is so cool. But yeah, I'm happy with it. I would change a little thing about it, but it's puzzling and it's weird. And if you can't recognize what's happening straight away, it's kind of the point. I want to do more like out there avant-garde ass stuff. I love things like that. I know that like modern art and avant-garde stuff gets a bad rap, but I think that's the fun thing about art, is that it can be anything as long as you have fun making it. And I think that's it. I think you just need to have fun making it. There we go. Day 27, Onion. This by far is my most liked piece. I don't know what people really resonated with this. I drew the onion. It's a solid drawing of an onion for sure, but there was so much empty space around it that I was like, this bugs me. So I just started drawing these little characters, winging them, just having fun drawing them. Dude, I couldn't tell you why people like this. I couldn't tell you, like, it doesn't have the most views, but it does have the most likes. And again, because reasons, I don't know. It's not my job to know, and I'm not going to stress about trying to figure out why. But apparently this resonated with a lot of y'all. I'm glad. It's a good image. I like this little guy. He's so silly, and the onion is crying. Yeah, not much to say about this. I didn't use any black ink on the onion itself. That's the only kind of unique thing about this one. I used the red ink in its purest form, and then washes, like watered down versions of that, to accomplish everything else. So technically, if you take out these two guys, this is just one color the entire way through, which I think is pretty cool. Shows you can do a lot with just one color. So I got into skating recently. I watched a video essay about grindcore, which is like the genre that things like Air Gear and Jet Set Radio Future are, and it just revived something in me. And I ended up buying skates, and I've been practicing, and I've fallen down pretty hard a couple times, but I keep getting back up, and I think I'm gonna really enjoy kind of this new hobby. And I was just feeling skate, man. And so I drew the skeleton. He was hitting a grind on this wall, doing little doodles here, spray can, splashed the whole thing with ink, and got a pretty fun drawing out of it. Yeah. I've also been getting into like graffiti culture. I don't know if that's the right way to say that, but this is definitely not a good example of it. But just the art in general, and like how people express themselves. I've been looking at a couple books and watching videos about people who've been doing it for years. It's just very interesting. It's a very cool, interesting style of expression, and I'm probably going to dabble in it here soon, but for now, this is just kind of what I was feeling in that day. So this one I went super. All of my videos are very straightforward. It's literally, I put down a piece of paper, I hit record, I do it all. I take it into an editing software, and I just speed everything up. And then at the very end, I slow it down so I can show the last piece. Super easy. One of the challenges that I had during this thing was I wanted to post a video every day of me doing the art. And so it had to be really simple. I'm not a big fan of editing. I'm not an editor. So any way to make it easier, I was going to do. However, on this day, I went really just kind of like vibe. I had a vibe in my head that I wanted to do. So like I recorded myself like playing a record and then pulling out my typewriter where I typed the prompt at the top here, I don't know if you can see that, but it just says day 29 lesson. You are entitled. You are entitled to the work, not the fruit. Don't create art in hopes of fame or fortune. Create art for art's sake. Kind of a lesson I've been relearning throughout this year, but also especially through Inktober. And then I just drew this image of this guy who's trying to draw, and he's just got a bunch of cats. He's got a cat problem. Just had fun, man. Like, no real rhyme or reason. It doesn't really match the prompt at all. But I just wanted to do it. I just wanted to have fun. This is on a full-size piece of paper too. It's on freaking like printer paper too. Definitely not the greatest for inks, as you can see. But I just wanted to have fun. I just wanted to experiment. I got to whip out my typewriter again. Got to use that thing more. Yeah, had a lot of fun. This one, I believe was day 30. I need to write that on the back here. But what was the prompt? The prompt was vacant. And I had an idea that I was going to draw this person kind of like this, but there was going to be nothing, like no detail. It was just going to be white. If you think of like, what is it? Truth from like Full Metal Alchemist, like that grinning thing that you meet whenever you go like to the doors or whatever. It was going to be something like that. I could not for the life of me figure out how to do it. And when I thought I figured it out, I overworked it and ended up with this. I think it's a cool piece. And I guess you could be like, oh, it's vacant, like vacant stairs or something like that. The reality is I missed the prompt. But I had fun anyway. I had fun doing it anyway. White ink coming in really good here. Again, there are times to use it and times that I shouldn't, and I've kind of learned that. Again, I really like the piece. It just didn't really match the prompt too well. So I succeeded and failed at the same time, which, as far as I'm concerned, that means you broke even. So this one was fun. And lastly, y'all, day 31. Award. And I just drew myself. This is my self-portrait of myself. It is a bald, bearded guy with no eyes. Fun fact, my eyes are garbage. I might as well. I mean, yeah, I'm basically blind. But yeah, this is kind of my little stand-in for myself, and I'm just receiving an award, and I was happy, man. I had made it all 31 days, and I'd never done that before. In Inktober, I've tried Inktober multiple times, and I think the furthest I've ever gotten is like day 15. But yeah, kind of overall thoughts. I'm proud of myself for making it all the way through. I'm proud of myself for learning as much as I did in the 31 days. I think I grew as an artist, and I'm happy with the fact that I didn't let something that has affected me in the past, which is views and likes and that kind of stuff. It really didn't play a factor into anything. I know I've mentioned it a couple times because I just think it's interesting, but I really did just draw because I wanted to draw. I wanted to do this for myself, and I don't know, I'm proud of myself. Sometimes you just gotta say that, and I am. I did it. It says it right there. I don't think I got any more to say. If you watch this is a long ass video, so if you watch this all the way through, thanks a ton. If you're interested in following me or looking at any of these, like I said, I recorded shorts for every single one of these drawings, so if you want to see how I made a specific one, you can just go to that short on that day. If you want to to support me, honestly, the best way is commissions. I have a Fiverr up. You can just hit me up there. I'll do a commission through that, or you can just email me um, at mocutsart at gmail.com, and we can talk it out there. I'll be more than happy to make you something. Trying to make this my living, and it's gonna be a slow go, but I think it's gonna be worth it, and I'm excited to see what the future holds. So if you watched, thanks, and hopefully I catch you in the next one later.